tell you, it's been an intense summer for me, probably for a lot of us. But I wanted to share. I've had a couple of videos, kind of sitting on my head, in my head for a bit, and I wanted to share them. And today, you know, I wound up having an allergic reaction to some medication, so we're staying home from work and doing this instead, apparently, because I'm not functional. Hooray for the universe working. So it's a little bit weird, but I wanted to talk about the impact that authors and stories have on this planet, because a lot of times what is being written is very purposeful behind the scenes. Like, I know for me, there are a lot of books that I just get a flash of a scene and I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued by this character, and I carry it out and I like play a what if game, like what happens next, or what if this happened next, or what if this happened next, and that kind of thing. And that's awesome. And it works out to be some really beautiful stories and incredible characters. And at the very least, as an author, that's a lovely journey to go on. But there are other stories, I think, that are created specifically for the purpose to get a theme across. And sometimes sometimes the meaning is very intense, and it's very like, from the beginning, we are going to write a story for this, and we're going to fulfill this thing. Other times, it just happens to be that way, and I, hooray for alchemy and the magic of the world and storytelling. But this one really hits me really intensely, because this is kind of like the essence of I think why I'm here and what I want to do in my life, this particular story. And you're probably gonna laugh, but I was invited to watch K-pop Demon Hunters on Sunday, so that's 2 days ago now, for the first time. I'd heard about it and I was like, yeah, new animated movie, this is amazing, I'm so excited about it, but I just hadn't, like, my summer's been insane, just hadn't gotten around to it. And my friend was like, no, dude, watch it. I was like, okay. And I genuinely was watching it as a celebration of where I am and what is happening in my world and what is happening in my life and my energy, and how I very much feel like I have shifted into a place where my authenticity and my identity drives what's happening in my world, instead of being subject to what's happening in my world. Hi, baby. I know. Can you audio miras? I'm in the middle of a video. I know. I woke you up from your nap. I'm sorry. So the fascinating thing is, I watched, and most of you have probably seen it before, but two things really stood out to me. Partially because it's stuff that I've been working on myself for the last bit, and partially because I think it's just what needs to be said right now. And I just love the fact that this movie came out and stated it. So watch the movie. It is actually really an incredible movie, worth your time. I know a lot of adults don't give weight to animated movies. I think that's a little bit silly. I love animated movies, but anyway, so I'm not gonna give the plot away, but basically you have three girls who are pop stars in Korea who use the power of their voice and their warrior skills to rid the world of demons. At one point, the main singer loses her voice or struggles with her voice, and so that of course endangers their mission. And there are two things that stood out to me about this. Number one was her inability to rest. And I think, and specifically her inability to rest because so much was at stake for her, for the world and everything like that. And so we think that her heart's in the right place. Like, she wants to get her job done. She wants to do the thing. She wants to make stuff happen. And that's respectable. She's doing her job, and this is amazing. And I value that. I can appreciate that perspective. But also, on the flip side, I feel like we, especially in kind of this new world since the Industrial Revolution, we don't value rest. And so what we wind up offering people is a dried up, stressed out, addicted husk of a human soul to the people around us, because, you know, we're just so busy trying to make it that we're exhausted and we have nothing to give once we make it, or when, like, why would anybody choose us when we're just that worn out and ragged? And so that one really hit me, and I was like, ooh, that's fascinating that was in there, and that's a key plot point. The second thing that hit me was when she loses her voice. Like, from the beginning of the movie, you see this emphasis on their voices are a weapon. Their voices create this powerful narrative of hope that protects the world from the demons and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, 100%. And I voices should not be silenced. And I will say that I just recently last night watched an episode of The Musketeers from BBC, and it was called A Dangerous Woman. And she said that one of the characters stands on trial for witchcraft, and she says, I was gagged at birth. And it was true. A lot of people have been gagged from birth historically because of gender, color, race, creed, whatever. And it's one of the deepest shames of this planet that we cannot abide truth, wherever it comes from. We just can't. And I recognize that a lot of people are gagged. And the power of a voice is important. And we need people to step up and speak and sing and create and be, because we need those voices. We need the unheard voices. So I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I think is fascinating about this movie specifically, because it's, for the most part, I'm mostly talking about like the power of storytelling and how transformative it is on my channel and what you can do to level up your writing and blah, blah, blah. With K-pop Demon Hunters, it is fascinating because she loses her tool to fulfill her purpose. And what I find really fascinating about that is when we make our tool our identity, we've completely disempowered it. It's intrinsic authenticity that makes a voice worth listening to. But if you take the power package, the battery, whatever, the charge from who you are just bursting forth, and you put it into, well, this is my voice, and thus my art, my job, my politics, my music I sing or listen to, the likes that I spend, this is my way of making a difference. You actually actively disempower whatever that tool was. However, if you are sitting there authentically, intrinsically yourself, guided wholly by what you know is right and true, then it doesn't matter what tool comes to hand, it will have more impact and more effect than it ever could in any other way, because it's not cosmetic, it's not mechanical, it's not hackable, it is 100% yourself, and it is integrated. So for me, there are so many books I want to write, and there are stories that are so deeply embedded in me, and I want to get them out, and I want to share them with the world. And to be perfectly honest, they're expressions of who I am and my beliefs, and they're expressions of my identity and my authenticity and how I view the world. Nobody can write without engaging those things. They just simply cannot. It might be a reaction against something. It might be a perspective on something, but you cannot escape who you are authentically as you're writing something, as you're creating something. So as much as I would love to get my books out, I still meet people on the street. I still talk to them. I still do this YouTube channel. I still, make food. I make art. I sing. I laugh. I dance. I engage my world. I hang out with this one. I love you. I love you. He's not here for us. He's across the street for the neighbors. I think you're gonna be disappointed. He's not even parked nearby. I'm sorry, baby. There's a UPS guy. It's not your friend. Your friend comes in an Amazon truck. It's okay. So what's interesting about this particular story is these are things I've thought about already. And that's one of the reasons why I picked it up, of course, because, you see what you're looking for. But I loved the idea of having a story be such a beautiful expression, like an explicit expression of the need for rest and the need for authentic integrated identity, because ultimately that is what transforms Rumi's story in her life, and what's happening is her, just who she is and how she approaches the situation. So hi baby girl, I love you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. Check out K-pop Demon Hunters. It's on Netflix right now. Fabulous movie. The music is incredible. The talent is phenomenal. The art, the writing is incredible. But I just, as you're writing your stories, I think this is the point. What authentically, intrinsically is in you to say? Write that.